It is. I think we're going to have a lot of fun because we're standing out in front of the church motorcycle. We're talking to Aron Ra. Aron Ra's on the phone right now trying to find us. He's going to get here. We're going to get in this church. Or is it what? A theater? Are they trying to deceive someone or what? I mean, come on. Okay, they're filming me as we are talking, okay? So you're probably almost to Palafox now. Can you see how busy it gets?
We're on Palafox.
No, I mean, you're almost to Garden.
Gotcha. We're sitting in traffic. We're out in front of something.
Okay, try to find a parking place soon. They're getting real sneaky these days. They're actually taking theaters and turning them into churches. Yes, trying to get people saved in a theater. Wow, what is this world coming to? So let's turn it over to Aron Ra. I mean, what do you think about this? I mean, you were in shock when you saw it.
I was like, this is a church? But I have the same problem with all churches. Honestly, I do. I mean, you have somebody that's directing a congregation who is, you understand my perspective, it is dishonest to assert as fact that which is not evidently true. And that's what all religions do, right? And I just got to notice that there's a church group meeting to teach creationism in some church like a mile from my house tomorrow when I'm going to be in your studio. So I'm frustrated that I can't be there. And somebody posted, will this be appropriate for children 6 to 8? And I responded to her saying, no, they're going to be misled and deceived by professional con men who are going to fill their head full of junk pseudoscience, record it for me, and I'll prove my point. But of course, they're not going to record it because they want their kids to believe horse shit. They don't want to understand how the world really works because there's something bad about that. We're the bad guys if we show what is true. And they need to be allowed to have their own fantasy. And it is literally a fantasy. I have talked to ministers who've admitted that they believe what they do simply because they want to, and they admit that it's delusional. So where's the point? Where's the justification? I would challenge people to look up the definition of the word fraud and compare fraud to religion. Because doesn't religion meet the definition of fraud? I mean, this is misleading people to extort their money from them, right? I mean, that's exactly what this is. I don't understand the justification of telling people things that are false and then getting all of their money for it and then not having to pay taxes when they are, in fact, lobbying. Okay, so they're going to remove the Johnson Amendment, I think it was, so that you can allow churches to lobby for... They've already been doing that. They've been doing that for decades, right? These people vote exactly how their minister tells them to vote, as if the minister knows a damn thing, right? It's like George Carlin said, I have just as much authority as the Pope, but not as many people who realize that.
That's a good point. But here's my point. Over there, it's a beautiful church. Everybody knows what they're getting when they walk in that sanctuary. You know what I'm talking about? When they walk in a place like this, it's like, oh, I came here and now you're selling Jesus. And so Jesus trinkets, Jesus junk, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's all about marketing. And I'm saying that these guys are very, very good at marketing.
Yeah.
And so I would call it a con game because no one needs to get saved. No one needs to get delivered in that sense. And so what can we as humanity do to say, let's put an end mark on this kind of insanity? Because these people, I know what they teach. They teach hellfire and brimstone. You've got to get saved or you're going to be left behind. And if you're left behind, you know where you go? To the lake of fire. You get to spend forever burning and being tortured. I mean, we're talking about a God that created a torture chamber now. We're not talking about just, hey, you don't get to come to my club and you get to stay at your club. No, we're talking about burning and being tormented forever. We're talking about a God who actually created a torture chamber. I mean, it's crazy.
It was what you were telling me about Calvinism earlier, where God predetermines that certain people are going to go to this eternal torment, which is not in any way justified. So he's not doing a judgment. It's not because they've done anything wrong to deserve this. This is just, picked these through to send to my impossible promise, and I've sent these to suffer the fate of the threat of the fate worse than death, right? This is the stick and the carrot normally to keep people in line. But when people believe in eternity, that kind of diminishes the one life that they actually do have. This is one of the frustrating things about religion. You have one life that you're actually certain that you really get. And religion teaches you to devalue that. I mean, look at all the different religions that have tried to go where you're supposed to abstain from everything pleasurable. You're supposed to wear plain colors. Your wife is supposed to be plain. You're not supposed to have sugary flavorings or anything. You're not supposed to enjoy this existence at all. You'll enjoy the next one, but this one's going to suck. And so I've heard all these religious believers tell me that the world, that their life, is this terrible period that they have to endure before they get to something better. They've completely missed out on the purpose of being alive. I can't find a justification for a church for this kind of misinformation. Right. There's no good that can come from this.
Right. I would call it disinformation. I mean, certainly someone knows what they're doing. This is crafty. I'm a multi-axial theist. You're an atheist. And we're out here together trying to say, this is crap. I mean, this is deception. This is, I mean, you talking about a shell game? It's a shell game. And so let's keep walking.
All right. Down to have a motorcycle.
I tell you, I'm proud of the motorcycle.
I just saw one of these outdoor cafes.
You like this?
Yeah.
You have to go. Hey, let me tell you something. He's going through the narrow gate right now. I mean, this is biblical.
What the hell is the narrow gate? I mean, from the entrance, it looks fundamentally vaginal, right? That's the impression I had.
He went through the narrow gate. That's good. Some of this right here.
Clear?
This B-roll forward footage is going to be really okay. We do have some cool places here. You know, this is the Final Theater. They come together, have a lot of fun, but they're not trying to sell Jesus. They're being very, very honest with people. They're just saying, you like to beat, you like the songs, you like the music. And so what you have here is all kinds of people coming together, just having a wonderful social construct once they unite.
I'm all for it. I mean, it's good to see, like I said, young people traipsing about in the street, everybody out having a good time. That's a good scene. What's wrong with that?
It's awesome. Let's go.
I actually just use that salt as like practice.
I love that.
good.
Have fun.
Thank you. So, I made most of mine. It's made out of half-inch EVA foam.
Wow.
The only things I purchased were yes, absolutely.
Okay.
The only thing I purchased was the helmet and the pouches, which are functional.
Can you see through the eyes?
A little bit.
can.
A little bit. But once I get it turned all the way up, you know, the intensity on that, it's like, but it makes for really great pictures.
Okay, I want your thoughts on this. He's an atheist. He's president of the Atheist Association.
Atheist Alliance.
Right. And I'm a theist, okay? And we're here together to say that atheists and theists can get along, love one another, and keep moving forward. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Give me a high five.
Absolutely. I think you should be able to live and believe the way you want to live and believe.
That is one
Outstanding.
Yeah, you guys keep going, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good night.
Y'all have a good one.
Excellent.
So it was very loud.
Yeah, it was her and him.
Ma'am? Are you homeless? Ma'am? How long have you been homeless? I want you to meet someone. This is Aron Ra. He's an atheist. I'm a theist, and we're just here to say we care. We really, really care for humanity, and we want to see you prosper. How long have you been homeless?
A lot. 7 years.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so, thank you for talking with us, and know that we love you, okay?
So I appreciate that. Thank y'all so much.
Okay, when you get up in the morning, tell yourself that you're a good person, okay?
I do this every day.
Okay.
God.
Well, hey, you have fun tonight, okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just saying.
What do you mean? On the guitar. What do you best?
You want an original song? Or?
Yeah, just do.
Maybe someday, only skin like that could sing. Maybe someday, only skin thing you sing. Maybe someday, understand alcohol's my friend. Maybe someday, you'll understand heroin again. Maybe someday I can be like you. Maybe someday I'll be just as motherfucking cool as you. Maybe someday I'll be just as, maybe someday I can be a attention again. Maybe someday I can be like you. Maybe someday soon someone will love me just as much as you. Maybe someday I'll be beautiful too. Maybe someday I can have a little bit of money too.
Did you write that?
Sitting right here, I wrote it pissed off at all these people.
You sat here?
Honestly, I was drunk as fuck.
Yeah, you were.
Angry drunk, but whatever. There's a lot of backstory to that.
Yeah.
I probably don't have to tell you.
This is Aron Ra. He's an atheist, and I'm a multi-axial theist. What do you think about theists and atheists getting along?
I think it's awesome.
Is it awesome?
Totally.
Yeah.
There's something bigger and better than us, and we don't know what the fuck it is.
There we go.
I mean, that's the bottom line. And these people down here are like, Christ. I'm like, okay. But I know I know it in my heart. I've felt love before. That's brilliant and beautiful and fucking super strong. But I've seen a lot of the world. I'm not young, man. I'm old. I've been around a little bit.
Yeah. You've got a good song.
Thank you. I wrote it sitting right here, pissed off at people.
You picked a good spot. The acoustics work for you.
Yeah. Are you homeless?
Sorry?
Are you homeless?
No, I have a day job. I have a great friend that owns a landscaping company. And it's me and him. We got like 50 properties.
Yeah.
Half commercial, half residential. I got a great place. I live downtown Pensacola. I happen to be the groundskeeper there.
Right.
They own a bed and breakfast with like 4 apartments, and then I keep the lawn cut, make it look nice. And that's my Saturday work. And I lived in New Orleans 10 years, so I know you can do this and make money. But
Hey, thanks.
thank you, sir.
That was good.
Pleasure to meet you. Yeah, I'm glad you like that.
Thank you.
You guys have fun.
Stand here until I get some good shots here.
So that first person,
Okay, go ahead.
that first person told you that she prays every day, right? Pulls out her cross to show it. She's been homeless for years.
Right.
And this other guy who says, yeah, sure, there's something bigger and better than us, but we don't know what the hell it is. And I've been around the block a few times. I know better than this. He's got more together, right? And he's not praying to nothing. Nothing fails like prayer.
You know, I saw something the other day that I thought really struck me. It was of the Grand Canyon. And someone said, how can you say that there's no God when you look at this canyon? And then the other picture that was in juxtaposition, it says, how can you say that there is a God? And it had actually this picture of a hospital with people dying, suffering. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're talking about people who are crying out for help and they get nothing. I get that. And so, you know, people who wrap their lives up in theism, I think a lot of them really get it. You know, you can cry out to God in your worst pain, and where is He? I got that. And so it's a difficult journey, and I think so many people are on this journey, and they're asking greater questions these days. And so I think that compassionism, understanding empathy, is what we need. What say you?
What I'm seeing is people who get all obsessed about the God thing, where they talk to God every day. They ask, and God is like this imaginary friend, literally. You know, that they involve in every decision. They are well-to-do. They call themselves blessed, right? You know, if they win the football game, it's because God did it. You know, it's every little thing. Well, you know, God's looking out for me, and nobody's paying attention to the 50,000 African kids that died last month from starvation, right? Most of whom are also Christian, right? Or where is God then? How come He's helping you find your keys and win your football game and helping you get the good job? And how does that even work? How does God secure that you get the good job? Does He take over the employer's mind? There's a free will issue here. I mean, what exactly are the strings that God has to pull to make things work for you? And why the hell is He not pulling it for all of those other people who believe in Him and are dying of starvation?
So you're saying that God doesn't have a favorite football team?
No, and He's on both sides of every war. You know.
Okay, now what we've been doing tonight is simply exploring a bit. We left this theater, and now it's the place where you get saved, okay? We looked across the street and we saw, I don't know how much money it cost, but it was a beautiful, beautiful church. I mean, we're talking about lots and lots of money. And now we're walking away from those two churches down there, and we're seeing people on, on the streets. Some of them are begging, some of them are not. Some of them are praying and they're destitute. They don't have a place to live. It's all over the place. We're walking in the midst of people having fun and people in misery. What is the answer here?
Well, the people in the beginning with the church, when wanting to get saved, they're offering the stick and the carrot, and ultimately it is to get your money. And when it's not about getting your money, it's about using you for their political gain. And when it's not about that, it's simply about pretending that they're not really going to die. Whatever it is, it's not real. They are imagining things. And even if there was a God, I would still be confident in saying this because they're asserting as fact things that they don't know to be true. Right? If I were to tell you that there's a man hiding in your closet with a gun, and I'm saying that just because I want to, just because I have a feeling about that, right? Maybe I read tarot cards and it tells me that, right? It wouldn't matter if there really was a man hiding in your closet with a gun, because I just asserted it as if it were true, and there's nothing to back it up. That still qualifies as a lie. Even if it turned out to be true, it would still qualify as a lie. And this is the problem I have with religious teaching. It's not teaching anything.
I get that. It's troubling to see the world in such chaos, and we're reaching out in a sense to something that we have nothing available to, that is in evidence. Wow.
Look at also the judgments that these people are making. That you can only be saved if you believe, right? So if you buy into it, meaning literally buy into it, give us over your tithe and everything, and bolster this delusion that we want to share, then you'll be saved. But if you don't believe, it's your fault. It's God cloaked your mind. It's because you're a goat instead of a sheep, right? It can't be that you're just too logical to fall for pseudoscience or irrational claims with insufficient evidence, right? No, that can't be it. It's because you're a bad person, right?
So you're saying that at the age of 4, that's when I got saved, okay? At the age of 4, I got saved. Are you saying that I wasn't wretched, wicked, and a sinner at the age of 4?
No, I don't think you were. And I'm sure you've heard religious believers tell you that the only reason that they're not out killing and raping and destroying everything at whim is because they have this fear of God. So what about all these people who never had a fear of God, right? Why wasn't Isaac Asimov or Carl Sagan, running around in these drunken shoot-'em-up orgies? And why was that not happening? Because people who don't believe that don't act like that, It's because this is just part of a false narrative. They're using it to reinforce their own position, but it's not valid. It's incorrect information, like the rest of everything that they teach.
It's good stuff. Good stuff. Where's your wife at?
Right there.
It's time for you to be on camera. Stand right over here next to your husband. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions.
Come on over side of you there.
She's hiding behind me. You see this?
Okay, hey, let's back up so Jack can have some room.
Yeah, so
There we go. Okay.
well, just make sure you hit them with some good light.
Okay, I want to make sure we get Sanger in this, okay?
Yeah. Can you kind of get in a little bit closer? I can pull back
Okay.
all the way.
All right.
I'm afraid if I
Yeah.
step back
You
too
guys
much,
talk
I'm not
to
going to get
me.
the audio.
Don't talk
You
to the
come
camera,
forward.
okay?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Can you
Okay.
come around, Jack, a little bit? Give me some frontal light. All right,
Okay, that's great. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, my wife and I went out to eat with you guys this afternoon. We had a wonderful time. You guys are truly in love. I mean, what is all of that about? I mean, most people don't think that atheists can be in love.
Do you want to field this one?
It's like when Oprah said that how do you enjoy life? Atheists enjoy life too. And having a partner to enjoy life with, enhances the experience of sharing it, something pleasurable like a meal together, or a drink, a good beer.
Yeah, I figured out when I was invited to come speak in some foreign countries. I mean, I went to Australia, New Zealand. I knew that she'd always wanted to go to New Zealand, and I'm having to send her pictures back, and it felt bad that I'm experiencing the place she wanted to visit, and I'm experiencing it without her. So, a couple years later, we went together, and so every time I go to a foreign country, I bring her with me. Except when we went to the United Arab Emirates, she said, "No thanks."
I get that. Okay. Is there something that you want to say about politics? Why do you want to be a senator?
Because I think one of the few things that my Republican friends agree on is that the establishment of both parties needs to be changed, right? That we need a grassroots complete changeover, and I don't like the way any Republicans are currently doing their business. Certainly not in my neck of the woods. There's a great deal of graft. There's not any support for education or science or quality of life. It's all about paranoia. It's all about prejudice. There are people in the government where I am that honestly their biggest deal isn't improving lifestyle for anybody, but it's all about preventing trans people from being able to pee in a public restroom. That's it. That's your greatest concern. That and building a wall that is fiscally impossible, and wouldn't solve the problem. And if they did the exact opposite, that would solve the problem. If they were to legalize marijuana and create a better immigration system, these two things together would completely neutralize that whole problem. We would solve that issue. We just have to do the very opposite of everything that's being done now. And so somebody has to get in there and pull for that. And I'm impressed that there are precious few people that have enough credibility that they're not just going to receive, the Betsy DeVos donation to vote her in. Or it's like Rick Perry, our governor for the longest time, admitted on stage during a presidential debate that he can be bribed, but that he's expensive because he didn't have the morality to know that you're not supposed to be bribed, that you're certainly not supposed to admit to being bribed. But it had already been exposed because the Daily Show was showing all these organizations that donated over $100,000 to Perry's campaign and how each of them received legislation benefiting their company within 30 days. This is corruption. This is dishonest. Somebody needs to be in office who understands what honesty and dishonesty are.
That's good. Good. Now, my question is, why do you want him to become senator?
I'd like, there's several reasons, but just for time's sake, I'd like for him to help raise the profile of atheists, that we're not immoral people. We're not that different from everybody else. And I think that in Texas, more secular Texas senators and legislators would be a great help to the state.
Every level of government in Texas right now, I mean, basically everybody in government in Texas right now is right-wing, Republican, dominionist, conservative Christian, right? So they're pushing science denial, not just of evolution, but of climate change, and also our history books teach that Moses was a real person, right? And they have every kind of bigotry, religiously, politically motivated bigotry written into our history books, our social studies books, and then sex education as well. All of this has got to stop. This is completely unreasonable. It's based entirely on falsehoods. I had to argue with the Board of Education that there was no such thing as a Hamitic race, because they wanted a textbook that actually said that Africa was colonized by the sons of Ham. We're talking about history here. We need to pull our head out and face reality before reality turns us over.
Right. Sounds great. Let's go eat some pizza.
Thank you much.
Are you guys ready?
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I think I got that.
I'm trying to get out of
Thank you so much. Right here, you can have that one. Right, good night.
Have a good day.
back that way.
Where you going? One more street.
Yeah.
It appears to be the leaving date. We're narrowing it down.
I said, all right, 5 minutes. And 20 minutes later, I said, okay, we can. One of their buddies.
Can you hear that? Is that a recording or is that really the band? My God, I love that music.
Couldn't tell. Who is he? Oh, was that in his line?
Okay, here's where we're going. We're going to Navy Boulevard. Let me see if I can get the address. Do you know where that's at?
No,
We can
we can Google it though.
real quick.
Xavier? North Navy Boulevard, this one?
Right.
Okay. We will see you there momentarily.
Okay, we will be there. Thank you guys.
No problem.
You guys did a great job.
All right. Good night, Pensacola.